Becoming a man or a woman of impact and influence begins with the way you see yourself or the way others get to see you. There's no one better in helping you to present yourself in the best light than this guest.
Thanks, James.
You see, what Kirk does is he dresses up the gentleman or the gentlewoman to be the best they can be. When I talk about that, I'm talking about what you do as an haberdasher. Is that the right way to say it?
Yeah, a haberdasher, it's a word that we don't use very often here in the States. Anybody in the UK understands what that is. It's just a dealer in fine men's clothing and accessories. But I loved the word. I loved what it meant. I don't hear it very often. And once you hear haberdasher, you've only ever met one of me. So for me, it felt like great branding. My wife and I spent weeks trying to decide what to name the company when we started it 15 years ago. And haberdasher was like a plumber calling his company plumber.
Yes. But it's so unique because it's not a word that people commonly know.
Right.
It educates you, but it also elevates. There are times where I've walked into just a general store. It may be in a high name or well-known name store, and they have just looked at me, and they had a guy who's been working there 30 years, and he looks at me and he goes, "You probably wear 40 jacket. Come on, I'll try it." And I was like, "No, I don't think so." And I go to put it on, and I tear it or something. I was like, how did this guy get it so wrong? He's got the tape measure around his neck. You would think he would know. So I understand that just because someone is in the field, it doesn't mean they're in your field, right?
Right. We make everything custom. And so my tape tells the story, but also the conversation that I have with you as we measure tells me how you prefer the clothing to fit and the way that you're going to wear it. So if you're going to be wearing it on stage, in front of people, on a camera, filming, then you need to make sure that those fabrics and those fits match the message that's coming out of your mouth. So a lot of it is about the branding and making sure that the message is congruous with what you're saying. So that's why I like you, James.
Thank you. Listen, this is what's great about you, is that you're taking and elevating even those of us who thought we were elevated. A lot of people go through, you'll see them go through a change. When I first started, I used to wear just outfits that were athletic because I viewed myself as an athlete. But there comes a time where you can no longer dribble a ball the same way or jump the same way or lift the same way. So who are you after the identity of athlete goes away, right?
Yeah.
And so then when you mature, how does that maturation show up? So first thing you do, you get you a collared shirt and put on pants, but then you realize okay, we can call it being casual. But the truth is I just didn't have a wardrobe.
Right.
And so then we began to get other stuff. You go to the store, you buy off the rack, and you're like, that's something. There it is. But there's levels.
There is.
And as you begin to learn, you were teaching me about the difference between off the rack and how when there's glue and all those things. Can you talk about the process a little bit about the difference levels, right?
When you buy things that are mass produced, the cheapest way to produce those when you're talking about suits and jackets is to use an interfacing, which gives structure to the front of the jacket. And that interfacing is the same thing that makes your shirt collar stiff. It's the things that you can't see. Your shirt collar is glued in there, and they use that same glue and the same process to give shape and structure to the front of the jacket. That's the cheapest way to make it. You can do a half canvas where there's some hand attachment of sleeves and collars and no glue in a half canvas type garment. And then you can do a full canvas with some hand finishing. And then you can do a full canvas, which has no machine work. It's done completely by hand. So we use in our garments, we use a horsehair liner that goes from the shoulder down to just below where the buttons are. And that's the canvassing. And that canvassing is sewn in and floats between the layers of fabric with 3,400 hand-based stitches. And it takes a very skilled artisan a long time to create that much. Right. But what that does is it provides more structure and drape. And when you put it on, you go, whoa. This is different.
It is different. See, there are levels in this thing. That's why when I was looking at it, as you elevate, as you mature, people think, well, you get money, you're trying to show off and all those things. It's not that. You see, the more that you become, the more you must evolve to become more, because you reach into different crowds. If you want to become a speaker in front of presidents, nations, you want to speak to the world, you can't have a neighborhood mentality.
Yeah.
You have to elevate and present yourself. And whether we realize it or not, how we produce ourselves, how we present ourselves will decide whether or not people will do business. They decide immediately in looking at you. Can you imagine a guy shows up at your house and he's talking to you and he wants to sell you a Lamborghini, and he's got on a hat turned backwards and it's got a team logo on it. He's got shiftiness to him, and he's like, hey, you live here? I got a Lambo that's available, man. I'm selling it. Would you buy it from me? Like, no. He said, no, I do home deliveries, man. This is at-home business. Like, no, I don't know. You would assume it's stolen. In the same way, you can't have stolen credibility or think that you can get away with presenting yourself to a nation or to a world if you're not willing to change your world. You've got to go from the doors of your house to be able to read the White House a whole different way. You've dressed so many different leaders. How do you go through the process of helping them find the authentic them for the level they're at?
First, I ask a lot of questions. I ask them questions like, who's your audience? How do you feel when you're in front of people? Mm-hmm. Do you have a sense of confidence already, or are you wearing the confidence on the outside already? Mm. Some people are aware of their body type, or they have very long arms and they hate short things because they've grown up their whole life with everything that's short. So we go through like a long list of questions that give them an opportunity to say, these are all the things that make me feel uncomfortable when I'm in my clothes, in my own skin. And we create and craft clothing so that they feel completely comfortable with what we craft, so that they don't have to worry about it. After they have clothing created for them, they know they've taken the time, they've set that time aside, they've purposefully talked to me about the message that they're trying to send, and then that's off the table. And so when they stand up in front of people or when they get on camera, they know I've already done that. I look great. And the message that I want to present is being presented. Now I focus on what I do best. And that's presenting the message that matches how I look. Right. And there's the psychology behind when you watch someone. I just had this conversation this morning with a client, and he asked me honestly, what do you think about an untucked shirt with a jacket on? And I said, I think it's incongruous. When you wear a jacket, you're elevating the look.
That's right.
And as soon as you untuck the shirt, it looks like, I can't wait to get out of this jacket.
That's right.
I can't even tuck my shirt in for you, right? And everybody has their own style. And I don't think everybody needs my style. But I said, if you're asking my honest opinion as a professional haberdasher, when it looks like you can't wait to get out from underneath that jacket, you look uncomfortable, it makes me uncomfortable.
Wow.
And I don't listen to what you have to say, because there's something about you, and I might not even register that it's the untucked shirt. It could be that you've got a mustard stain.
Right.
And I can't pay attention to anything you say.
Well, I got this stain on me.
You've got that stain and you don't know it, right? So what I want my clients to do is stand up in front of people or present themselves in meetings to the people that they're selling to or leading, so that they do not have to think about that. They know I've taken the time. I know that I look good. Now I do what I do best, which is lead and inspire.
Wow. This is what I love about you. You dress people. You work from athletes to celebrities to politicians to speakers. It doesn't matter the profession. You bring your professionalism to upgrade their game. And your questions you ask are based upon how they want to be seen. Recently, I saw you work with someone who had just got $9 million, life-changing, but you change their life. You present them so that they have a presentation for life. How do you go about always treating people the same? Whether you make $9 million or you only make $90,000, I notice that you're always the same even kill with people. What's the key to that?
First, thank you. That's a great compliment. I think I was brought up to kind of be intimidated by status. And I've learned that literally everyone puts their pants on one leg at a time. And everyone has insecurities. Everyone is self-conscious. And there's something about measuring someone and kind of, I think it's because I'm in their personal space for a moment as we measure and we talk, that they open up to me. And I've realized you can be the richest man in the world or the guy buying his first suit. And a lot of those insecurities are the same insecurities. And so I don't get intimidated by status anymore. I know that no matter what you are, what you do, and who you're in front of, everyone still struggles in their own way. And when you're allowed to be real for a moment and talk about maybe the insecurities that you have of, my jackets always end up being too tight on me, or it looks like I'm uncomfortable. I struggle with my weight. I don't like things to be too short because I grew up never having a shirt that fit. Right. And those types of conversations just lead me to treat everybody the same, because everybody has a story, and it doesn't matter. Money doesn't matter. The insecurities come regardless.
Listen, you can't buy away the insecurity, right?
Yeah.
If you go and have surgery and you adjust yourself, if you do all those things, if you get Botox all the way out, until you look like a puffer fish, whatever it is you go through, the truth is, that there are people who know you did it too soon, or they know you did it.
Yeah.
Right. And so insecurity will come out around certain people, certain things. But the one thing that I love about confidence that you've merited or you've earned, because there are certain suits you build that are not just, we went to the store and they were $99, that it's your missionary package, go grab it, take off. No, this is for when you found that mission in life and you're like, this is who I am. Help me to project that, so that my message, my method, and my presentation are all up front.
Yeah. And I credit any type of people skill that I have in that regard to, I think a little bit of it is genetics. My grandfather, who I respect and love dearly, he learned some of his people skills from his dad, and he called his dad, who would be my great-grandfather, a people mechanic. And he could talk to anybody. He was comfortable around everyone. He passed those types of traits on to my grandfather through my mother and to me. And if I could be like anybody, it would be my grandpa.
Wow.
Because he's never met a friend. He's never met a person that hasn't become a friend. That's right. There's no strangers in his world. He says hi to everyone. He greets them with a smile and has some funny quip or story or joke to make them feel at ease. And I love that about him. So if I can carry any of that into, I love to make people feel comfortable. And one of the reasons why I stayed in the suit business was because I loved the payoff that I get. I happen to get paid for what I do.
Right.
And
you do what you love and you get paid for what you do. You can't beat that.
But I love my payday is when I get a text on Sunday morning and someone says, my show last night just killed.
There we go.
And I felt so good on stage. Or I'm getting dressed this morning and I cannot tell you how much I love wearing the stuff that you make me. It makes me feel so confident. That's the payday for me.
So let me tell you one of the challenges. As an amputee, if I just go buy something off the rack, I have to be conscious of the fact that sometimes there are lines, there are pivots and divots that go across my prosthetic. And it can make me insecure. It can make me to the point where I stop and I stand still and I'm trying to pull it out so that no one else notices it. But by getting something custom by you, You can create it and carve it so that there's adjusted room already there, so that I don't have to be insecure or uncomfortable with it.
Right. You'll find this interesting. I fit a new customer about 3 weeks ago, and he had cancer in his leg when he was a child, and he was an amputee from the hip down.
Wow.
And he said, I've never had anything custom made, and it just never fits me on the right side because I have a prosthetic that comes all the way up to my hip. And we were able to create a pattern for him that reduced the size and made it so it wasn't baggy where he didn't have a hip. And we were able to line one side of it so that the liner would glide easier over his prosthetic. Wow. But he didn't want that extra weight on the left side, so we were able to line the right leg and not the left. And I love trying to make them feel confident.
You made
it
custom for that person in their life. You know how that builds a confidence, but it also made the sacrifice of what he invested worth it. Yeah. It's amazing that you put together shoes that are such high quality that we can wear it more than once as well. There was nothing worse than when I was growing up as a kid. My mom would go get us matching Easter outfits. And I didn't want to be dressed like Mom for Easter, but we had matching colors. Sometimes I looked like John Travolta next to her because she'd get us white suit and black collar that flies away. But once we wore that, I couldn't wear it again without people remembering it. Right. And so can you talk a little bit about the importance of colorways?
You bet.
Things of that nature.
You bet. When you're building a custom wardrobe, you don't start with the funnest fabric in the book. You start with the basics, which sounds boring, but the way that we build it, I build 80% of your wardrobe to be things that you can wear every day that make you look like you got dressed on purpose. Then we add 20% that comes back in and functions as coordinating pieces with that 80% that makes your wardrobe look much, much bigger. But if you get on stage and you're on camera with that 20% and you go, wow, that's a bright, loud plaid suit, right? And you see James in that suit. And then a week later, you see James in that suit again.
Yeah.
And you see James in that suit 2 weeks later.
Right. And if you make a YouTube video and I'm staying in that suit, like he only has one suit.
Hey, we all know that you make content on one day.
Yeah. Right. But even then, the fact that you're doing that, you have to be conscious of the fact that how will I be perceived? How long will this image of me be seen? And maybe that's all the more reason why we should get something custom. You know what most people do for customization? They think what makes me separates me is if I go buy a $1,200 pair of shoes. I've got on these great shoes. I've got these expensive shoes, but it's got someone else's initials on it, right? And I'm marketing them. Then it comes to the clothes, and I've got to have someone else's logo on it. And I've got to have someone else's name from this, that, and the other. And the more we're doing that, we're not elevating your own name because there's nothing custom to you except for what you do. Yeah. You give them a chance. You give us a chance. You give me that chance. You give the John Elstons of the world a chance to be able to present themselves in such a way that they remember, I stood out, I stood different, and I stood out uniquely from everyone else. It's like, my cousin has the same suit. That doesn't happen when it comes to you.
No. And in small markets, I work with a select group of people. And so, I'm a one-man show. My wife helps me run the business, but I'm the face of the business. And so I can't work with everybody. So I'm selective on who I work with. And I know who buys what. So in a small market, say, for example, in Salt Lake City, if someone I know in the professional speaker space buys the jacket I have on today, I do not sell that jacket in that market again. Wow. That's their jacket. Good. That's their jacket. I do not want two of my clients showing
we're
up
standing
at the
same
event.
stage. I can't believe this. You have on Kirk Vicuña's outfit.
Yeah.
That segues into something.
Sure.
So my wife has written a book, and you are the inspiration behind it. You
I'm
became
flattered
one
and
of the
honored.
characters is named after you, and it's going to be an official character, has his own spinoff book, Kirk the Vicuña. All I got to tell you is that, one, we didn't know about the Vicuña until you, but secondly, what we've learned about it has made us say that thank you for being an educator. Thank you for never making us feel insignificant or insecure about what we didn't know. One of the best things about a professional, in the same way that a doctor will bring in and help us diagnose what's wrong with us, they could speak at a very high level over us, but they have this expert power, so we respect it. You operate in the same way. You do it in private, you build with people, you help them understand, and really it's more like you give a prescription for what we're trying to become than it is to let me find you a suit.
Thank you.
I think the greatest mistake you can make is to think that you provide people with suits. You provide a covering for the book that they want to be remembered as. Something lasting, something valuable. It's a word.
Yeah. I often tell people I sell two things. I don't sell the suit, I sell the way you feel in it. And I don't sell suits, I sell Saturdays.
Oof.
Because Saturdays are precious to me. Those are the days I get to spend with my family, and I don't want to spend them suit shopping.
That is it. It's funny when you go somewhere, it's so difficult to find something in the waste of time it takes. And you know how many people have suits that they can wear? If you spend $200 on something, right, you're $300 or $100 or $1,000, and it's just off the rack. That's money you could have invested into a custom suit. Yes, it would cost you more, but if you invest in it, you'll see the difference.
You will.
It's the difference in, people say, well, it doesn't matter. It's just suit is a suit, right? Then you go, okay, I'll give you a smart car.
Yeah, it's like
And
a
you're
car
like,
is a car.
Yeah, no, I can't do a smart car. It doesn't fit me. Like, listen, Shaq, get in the smart car. It
Right.
works for you.
Yeah.
And he won't do it because he wants something that fits who he is.
Right.
And because cars are, it's transportation, but it is also, it must fit the size of your family or the status of your family. It matters for the sense of security and all that. Quality suit not only is something that's significant, but a suit that is unique as you are. Man, you really do a number on changing lives. That's why I brought you on and said, I've got to tell the world about you.
Well, thanks.
You
I
know?
appreciate that. And it's been an honor to get to know you recently. Someone asked me today, how long have you known James? And I said, like 3 months.
That's it. It didn't take long to know someone when the purpose is strong.
Oh, we have way too much in common with our veterans causes and our fatherhood causes and getting dressed up in suits every day.
That's it. But I want to even jump on that for a moment before we end. I wanted you to, your sons get a chance to see you all the time, which is great. But would you do me a favor and speak to other people's sons for a moment about the importance of being a gentleman?
Wow. This question reminds me of the reason why we started the Gentleman Project when my sons, who are now 17, were 5. And one of them asked me, Dad, what is a gentleman? And I didn't know how to answer that question because it's such a big term. In my mind, it's the best of us. It's when you reach the pinnacle of your potential. That is a gentleman to me. And so I purposely took the time to educate my sons on what I thought a gentleman was, because if I didn't teach them that, the world was going to teach them what they thought it was. And those are different for me. So it doesn't, there's the magic of the word gentleman, I don't quite understand. But on our podcast, we ask every person at the end what they think it means to be a gentleman. And we've done 132 episodes. Not one of those answers is the same. Because I think it goes back to the lived experiences that we all have, the people that have impacted us in ways good and bad, and what we have learned from them as we have tried to create the best version of ourselves, which for me, is a gentleman. When we try to create the best version of ourselves, we take our lived experiences and we say, this is what I want to be. I want to be better at this. And that's the life experience. That is what life is about, is shooting for the stars. And I might miss it every day. I might fall short. I might make mistakes. I might say things that a gentleman wouldn't say. But if I have that North Star, that anchor that pulls me back and tells me, you have potential. We all have potential to be a gentleman, for the gentleman among us, and ladies the same. If you were to ask me to speak to young men in your audience, I would say you can be the person in your family that breaks the chain of abuse, neglect, alcoholism, drug use, violence, or apathy. And apathy is one that I believe I suffered from. The other stuff I didn't suffer from, but I used the excuse of I'm busy, I'm providing, I'm doing my job as a dad and as a father by being away from the family, by providing for them, as an excuse to not check in.
Wow.
And as I've spoken to people about their experience in parenthood, that is a man's default mode. They either leave or check out. They don't have to leave all the way, but they can mentally check out. We've all been there. I'm present, but I'm not present. My kids see me, but they don't see me. My kids know who I am, but they don't know me. And it's those interactions for me, as I taught my sons how to be gentlemen, that let me take all of the things that I've learned from the people that were important to me in my life and express those traits and personalities that I want someday for them to be successful and givers in this world. I want them to know those things, and I better teach it to them.
Man, I want to tell you that's powerful. And what I'm thinking about in my heart right this very now is you talked about your lineage and great-grandfathers on down. As an African-American man, all I think about is that I used to see images from my grandfather's era and from my uncle's era, the 60s, where they wore signs and carried them that says, I am a man. The significance of that, of saying, I am a man, I have dignity, I have a right to be a man. And if you look at those images, you don't see them with the pants sagging, you don't see them with T-shirts, you see them in suits. And they carried themselves as a representative of my family. When I think of what a man is and when I dress, I don't put on a suit for image. I do it also for an impression. When I go to the airport, oftentimes I'm the first person they've seen like this, or a young like man has seen, in that I have a responsibility to be that man for those who haven't seen a man. But in order to be that man, I've also had to overcome what I didn't see in a man. And so, my thought now is, I have a son. I have two boys, actually. One is still in high school, hasn't joined us here yet, but the one that you know. And it matters how he carries himself, because he carries something more than a name. He carries a responsibility to become a man. A man isn't that I can be intimate with someone. A man isn't that I pay bills. That's minimum wage. That's just being an adult. But being a man is to be able to be the defender in the front line to protect a nation, a city, a family. But it starts with how you see yourself and carry yourself. I want him to be as dangerous as possible, but harmless. I want him to be as wise as he can be, but use it not for con artists or anything. Use it to be able to convince people to do great things. And that's why it's so important that we develop gentlemen So we dress them to be the man they can be. And thank you for taking time to address me today. Thank you, my friend.
Love you, James.
Love you, brother.